Life is unpredictable. One moment you're on top of the world, and the next you're grappling with challenges that seem impossible to overcome. But what if I told you there's an ancient philosophy that not only prepares you for these inevitable ups and downs, but actually empowers you to thrive through them? Imagine standing at the crossroads of your life, faced with decisions that could change everything. How do you move forward with confidence? This is where Stoicism steps in. Stoicism isn't just about enduring life's hardships with a stiff upper lip. It's about embracing those challenges as opportunities for growth, for transformation. Take Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, who faced countless battles both on the battlefield and within his own mind. His reflections, which are still revered today, show us that true power lies not in our circumstances, but in how we choose to respond to them. Just like Marcus, you can learn to turn obstacles into stepping stones, and that's exactly what we're going to explore together today. In this video, we're diving deep into 50 Stoic truths that might be hard to swallow, but have the potential to transform your life. Each of these truths is like a puzzle piece, and by the end, you'll see the bigger picture. A resilient, fulfilled life, guided by the principles of Stoicism. But before we dive in, I want you to do something for yourself. Hit that subscribe button and join our journey into the transformative world of Stoicism. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on what's coming next. The journey won't be easy, and these truths might challenge the way you see the world, but that's the point. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from stepping into the unknown and facing it head-on. So, if you're ready to transform your life, if you're ready to embrace Stoicism's tough love, stick around. Each truth we uncover will not only change the way you think, but could very well change the way you live. 1. The Foundation of Stoic Philosophy. Imagine being the ruler of the world's most powerful empire, facing constant threats from within and outside your borders, while grappling with your own inner turmoil. This was the reality for Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor whose reign was marked by endless wars, a devastating plague, and personal loss. Yet, despite these overwhelming challenges, Marcus Aurelius maintained an unshakable sense of calm and purpose. How did he do it? The answer lies in his understanding and practice of Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us that the most crucial aspect of our lives is not what happens to us, but how we respond to what happens. Marcus Aurelius, in his private writings, often reminded himself that while he couldn't control the external events around him, he had complete control over his own mind. This is the essence of the Stoic mindset, focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, our reactions, while letting go of what we cannot. It's a simple yet profound shift in perspective that can transform the way we navigate life's challenges. Let's take a moment to consider this in our own lives. How often do we find ourselves frustrated by things outside our control? Maybe it's a sudden change at work, a disagreement with a friend, or even the weather. Stoicism teaches us to pause, take a step back and ask ourselves, is this something I can control? If the answer is no, then we must practice letting go. If yes, then it's up to us to decide how to act in a way that aligns with our values. This mindset doesn't just help us survive, it empowers us to thrive, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. The Stoics also believe that our perspective shapes our reality. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How true is that? Think about the last time you worried about something that never actually happened. By choosing to view challenges as opportunities rather than threats, we can change our entire experience of life. This perspective isn't just about positive thinking. It's about cultivating resilience and inner strength, allowing us to face whatever comes our way with courage and clarity. Now, as we move forward, we'll explore how this Stoic mindset applies to every aspect of our lives. But before we dive into that, ask yourself, how often do you allow your mind to be consumed by things you cannot control? And what would change if you focused only on what you can? This shift in perspective is just the beginning, and in the next section, we'll uncover how Stoicism turns adversity into an invaluable tool for personal development. Stay with me, because the truths we'll explore next will show you that the challenges you face aren't just obstacles. They're the very things that can make you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. 2. Embracing adversity and resilience. Think back to a time when you faced a seemingly insurmountable challenge. Maybe it was a job loss, a difficult breakup, or an unexpected health issue. In those moments, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to see the obstacle as a roadblock. But what if you could shift your perspective and view that challenge as a catalyst for growth? This is one of the most powerful teachings of Stoicism, the idea that adversity is not just something to be endured, but something to be embraced. Consider the life of Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who began life as a slave. Despite the harsh conditions and lack of freedom, Epictetus didn't succumb to despair. Instead, he used his circumstances as a training ground for his mind. He famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Epictetus believed that every challenge, no matter how severe, was an opportunity to practice virtue, whether that meant patience, courage, or wisdom. This mindset allowed him to rise above his circumstances and leave a lasting legacy that continues to inspire us today. Now, let's bring this closer to home. Imagine facing a significant setback, something that disrupts your life plans entirely. The initial reaction might be frustration, anger, or even despair. But what if, instead of seeing this setback as a defeat, you saw it as a test of your resilience? What if you recognized that through overcoming this challenge, you would emerge stronger and more capable? Stoicism teaches us that adversity is like a forge. Each trial we face is a flame that tempers us, strengthens us, and shapes us into who we are meant to be. This concept isn't just theoretical. Modern psychology echoes the Stoic belief that resilience is built through facing and overcoming difficulties. Research shows that people who encounter and work through challenges develop greater mental toughness and are better equipped to handle future obstacles. So, when life throws you a curveball, remember that it's an opportunity to cultivate resilience and personal growth. But how do we put this into practice? One Stoic technique is called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves mentally rehearsing potential challenges before they happen. By visualizing worst-case scenarios, we prepare ourselves to face them with calm and clarity if they do arise. This doesn't mean dwelling on negative outcomes, but rather it's about building mental fortitude. The next time you're preparing for a big event, try this technique. Imagine the challenges you might face and how you'll respond. This simple exercise can significantly reduce anxiety and increase your resilience when the unexpected happens. As we move forward, let's reflect on the idea that every challenge is a disguised opportunity. Ask yourself, how have your past adversities shaped who you are today? And how can you approach future challenges with a Stoic mindset, seeing them not as obstacles, but as stepping stones? In the next section, we'll delve into how Stoicism teaches us to live in harmony with nature, not just the world around us, but our own human nature. This understanding will deepen our ability to navigate life's challenges with even greater wisdom and poise. So, stay tuned, because embracing nature's rhythm is the next key to unlocking a stoic, resilient life. 3. Living in accordance with nature. Imagine for a moment standing at the edge of a forest, watching the leaves sway gently in the wind. The trees, the birds, the flowing river. They all exist in perfect harmony, each element playing its role within the natural order. Now, think about your own life. Do you feel like you're moving in harmony with the world around you? Or do you often find yourself struggling against the current, feeling out of sync? Stoicism teaches that one of the keys to a fulfilling life is living in accordance with nature. Not just the natural world, but our own human nature as rational beings. The Stoics believed that humans are a part of nature, and to live a good life, we must align ourselves with the natural order. But what does this mean in practical terms? It means understanding and accepting the world as it is, rather than constantly fighting against it. This idea is beautifully encapsulated in the Stoic concept of amor fati, or love of fate. The Stoics encouraged us to not only accept whatever happens to us, but to embrace it as necessary and even beneficial. By doing so, we align ourselves with the natural flow of life, reducing our resistance and consequently our suffering. Let's take a closer look at how this applies to our daily lives. How often do we resist change, whether it's a new job, a shift in a relationship, or even just a change in weather? Our instinct is often to resist, to cling to what is familiar. But nature is in constant flux. Just as the seasons change, so too do the circumstances of our lives. By learning to accept and adapt to these changes, rather than resist them, we can find peace and stability. This is what the Stoics meant by living in harmony with nature. To bring this concept to life, think about how you react when things don't go as planned. Do you fight against it, or do you find a way to adapt? Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant." This suggests that when we resist the natural flow of life, we only make things harder for ourselves. On the other hand, when we accept what comes our way and adapt, we can move forward with grace and purpose. But what does it mean to live according to our human nature? The Stoics believed that our nature is to use reason, to think clearly, and to act in accordance with virtue. When we let emotions like anger, fear, or desire dictate our actions, we are living out of alignment with our true nature. However, when we use our reason to guide our decisions, when we act with wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation, we are living as nature intended, and this brings us closer to a life of fulfillment and peace. As you reflect on this, ask yourself, how aligned are you with your own nature? Do your actions reflect your values and reason, or are they driven by fleeting emotions and external pressures? This self-reflection is crucial because living in harmony with nature isn't just about accepting external changes. It's about aligning your inner life with your deepest values. In the next section, we'll explore how these Stoic principles translate into practical, everyday practices that can help you live a more disciplined and intentional life. We'll look at how daily routines, self-reflection, and mindful practices can keep you grounded and focused, ensuring that you remain on the path of Stoic wisdom. So, stay tuned, because the tools to put these profound ideas into practice are just around the corner. 4. Practical Stoic practices for modern life. Imagine starting your day with clarity and purpose, knowing exactly how you'll navigate the challenges ahead. This wasn't just a fantasy for the Stoics, it was a daily practice. Let's take a step back in time to the morning routine of Marcus Aurelius, who, despite the immense pressures of being an emperor, began each day by reflecting on his duties and the virtues he needed to embody. His morning ritual wasn't just about planning. It was about grounding himself in Stoic principles, preparing his mind to face whatever the day might throw at him. This practice, known as morning meditation, is something we can all incorporate into our lives to start our days with intention and resilience. But it doesn't stop at the morning. The Stoics believed in the power of routine, discipline, and self-reflection throughout the day. Let's consider the act of journaling, something Seneca often did to reflect on his thoughts and actions. He would ask himself, "What did I do well today? Where did I falter? What can I learn from these experiences?" This wasn't just an exercise in self-critique, it was a method of continuous self-improvement. By regularly examining our thoughts, behaviors, and decisions, we can ensure that we're living in alignment with our values and principles, a core tenet of Stoicism. Now, think about your own life. How often do you pause to reflect on your day, to consider what went well and where you might improve? It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle, but taking even a few minutes each day for this kind of reflection can have profound effects. Not only does it help you stay grounded, but it also keeps you focused on what truly matters, ensuring that you're making progress toward your goals rather than just going through the motions. The Stoics also placed great importance on the practice of mindfulness and meditation. This wasn't about sitting cross-legged and chanting. For the Stoics, mindfulness was about staying present and fully engaged in the moment, regardless of what you were doing. Whether you're washing the dishes or giving a presentation at work, Stoic mindfulness is about bringing your full attention to the task at hand, without letting your mind wander to past regrets or future anxieties. By cultivating this kind of presence, we can reduce stress and increase our effectiveness in everything we do. Let's bring this all together with a practical exercise you can try today. Start by setting aside 5 minutes in the morning to meditate on the day ahead. Reflect on your goals, the challenges you might face, and how you want to respond to them. Then, at the end of the day, take another 5 minutes to journal about your experiences. What did you do well? Where did you struggle? How can you do better tomorrow? These small practices, repeated consistently, can help you build a strong foundation of Stoic resilience and purpose. As you consider incorporating these practices into your life, ask yourself, how might your day-to-day experience change if you started each day with intention and ended it with reflection? The Stoics believed that by mastering these small, daily practices, we can gain greater control over our lives and cultivate the virtues necessary for a fulfilling life. In the next section, we'll delve deeper into the Stoic pursuit of meaning over happiness, and why living a life of virtue and purpose can lead to a deeper, more lasting satisfaction. So, stay with me, because what we'll uncover next will challenge the very way you think about happiness and fulfillment, offering a perspective that could truly transform your life. 5. Virtue and the pursuit of meaning over happiness. Let's start with a simple question. What if the ultimate goal in life isn't happiness, but something far deeper? This may seem counterintuitive in a world where we're constantly told to chase happiness, to seek out pleasure, and to avoid pain at all costs. But the Stoics had a very different view. one that can radically change the way you live your life. Consider the story of Cato the Younger, a Stoic philosopher and politician in ancient Rome. Cato was known for his unwavering commitment to virtue, even in the face of immense pressure and personal risk. During a time when many around him were indulging in corruption and vice, Cato stood firm in his principles. He famously chose death over compromising his values, a decision that left a powerful legacy of integrity and moral courage. For Cato, the pursuit of virtue was not just a guiding principle, but the very essence of a meaningful life. His story raises an important question for us all. What are we willing to sacrifice for the sake of our values? The Stoics believed that true fulfillment comes not from the fleeting pleasures of life, but from living in accordance with virtue. They identified 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. These were not just lofty ideals, but practical guidelines for living a life of purpose and integrity. Wisdom involves making sound judgments based on reason and understanding. Courage is the ability to face fear and adversity with strength. Justice requires treating others fairly and with respect, and moderation is about finding balance and self-control in all things. Now let's bring this down to everyday life. Think about a time when you made a decision based purely on what would make you happy in the short term, only to regret it later. Maybe it was a purchase you couldn't afford, or a relationship that felt good at the moment, but ultimately wasn't right for you. The Stoics would argue that these choices often lead to dissatisfaction because they're based on fleeting desires rather than enduring principles. Instead, they encourage us to ask, what is the right thing to do? What choice aligns with my values? When we focus on living virtuously, we not only find deeper fulfillment, but also build a life that is resilient and meaningful, even in the face of hardship. But here's where it gets interesting. The pursuit of virtue, according to the Stoics, often requires sacrifice. It may mean choosing the harder path, standing up for what's right even when it's unpopular, or foregoing immediate pleasures for long-term well-being. This might sound daunting, but it's also incredibly empowering. By aligning our actions with our values, we gain a sense of control over our lives that is far more satisfying than the temporary highs of pleasure. In essence, we stop being driven by external circumstances and start living from within, guided by our own inner compass. As you reflect on this, ask yourself, what values are most important to you? How often do you let these values guide your decisions, even when it's difficult? This is the essence of the Stoic pursuit of meaning over happiness, choosing to live with purpose, integrity, and courage, even when it's challenging. In the next and final section, we'll explore how these Stoic principles, when applied consistently, can lead to a life not just of virtue, but of lasting fulfillment and peace. We'll look at how integrating Stoic wisdom into every aspect of your life can transform your relationships, your work, and your overall sense of well-being. So, stay with me, because the journey we've been on is about to culminate in a powerful and practical roadmap for living a truly Stoic life. As we come to the end of this journey into Stoicism, I want to leave you with a thought that has guided philosophers, emperors, and warriors alike. Life isn't about avoiding hardship, but about how we rise to meet it. The Stoics didn't seek an easy life, but a meaningful one, grounded in virtue and resilience. Just like Marcus Aurelius, who faced the weight of an empire with calm resolve, or Epictetus, who turned the chains of slavery into a symbol of inner freedom, we too can face life's challenges with the same Stoic strength. Remember, Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control everything that happens to us, we have absolute control over how we respond. This philosophy isn't just for times of crisis. It's a way of living that guides us through everyday decisions, helping us to act with wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. Whether you're dealing with a difficult colleague, making a tough financial decision, or simply trying to be a better person, the principles we've discussed can serve as your compass. But this journey doesn't end here. The true power of Stoicism lies in its practice, in the daily commitment to self-reflection, mindfulness, and virtuous living. I encourage you to take the lessons we've explored together and start applying them today. Ask yourself, how can I live more in accordance with my values? What steps can I take to cultivate resilience in the face of adversity? And most importantly, how can I use these Stoic principles to create a life of deeper meaning and fulfillment? Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Which Stoic truth resonated with you the most? How do you plan to incorporate it into your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights could be the spark that helps someone else on their Stoic journey. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Together, we can build a community of modern Stoics, supporting each other in the pursuit of a life well lived. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Stoicism. Stay strong, stay wise, and remember, true fulfillment comes not from the pursuit of happiness, but from living with purpose, integrity, and courage. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep embracing the Stoic way.